The Old Firm semi-final has came and went, but no need to fear, we are still in the fallout zone. Welcome back to the channel. Kris Boyd has heaped plenty of praise onto Martin O'Neill, so we're not going to waste any time about it. Let's get into these comments as he praises Martin O'Neill for his usage of Johnny Kenny and Callum Osmond, labelling the 73-year-old a genius. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't really expect too much praise for Celtic for Kris Boyd. I thought the focus would have been on some of the decisions against both sides. I thought that might have been it, because that's what's happened from like Ali McCoist. I mean, Ali McCoist did praise the game of football, but he was going through the decisions. But maybe Kris Boyd will get into the decisions at a later date. But this is what he told the Scottish Sun, and I quote, "Celtic didn't really create a lot and got a lead through a fantastic header from Johnny Kenny. It's a great ball in, doesn't matter what size you are, as long as you get across the front of your man, and it's unbelievable flick back across. I must say, I thought he led the line really well. Whether the fact Martin giving him the nod, as I know he scored during the week, the leading striker of the team with Maida coming back, he was moved to the right hand side. You've got to say it was a little bit of genius for Martin O'Neill, because Maida, no doubt he's better for the left wing from what he is from the right, but Johnny Kenny gave Celtic that focal point. I thought he worked his socks off, got a great header and a chance just after that as well, and it was a good save from Butland." End of quote. So again, he's putting praise on Martin O'Neill for doing that. I mean, Johnny Kenny, I talked about Johnny Kenny in the summer, and that if he does stay at Celtic, this guy, he banged in the goals for Shamrock Rovers in the Conference League, and yes, the Conference League is quite obviously a step down from the Europa League. No one's going to sit here and deny that. But the guy still had a good record for goals in the Conference League, scoring against some decent clubs. You can't take that away from him. And he's playing for Shamrock Rovers, who, let's face it, are mince. The fact that he was bagging that many goals in for them was good, even though Shamrock Rovers had a really good campaign last year. So I'm not really surprised that Johnny Kenny, under a new manager, has looked a lot better. And the same goes for Callum Osmond. Brendan Rodgers, it looks like, it's beginning to look like now that it was all Brendan Rodgers' problem. No, the critics can still be out there. Celtic, they beat Falkirk 4-0. Rodgers did that. They beat Rangers 3-1. People will look at the red card. People will look at the decisions in the game as a factor for that. People will look at Yusuf Shamiti being shite as to why the score was like 3-1. But reality is, Martin O'Neill has come in. He has won 2 games of football. Crucial one in the league, because you just needed to stop the losing streak, because they were on 2, and anything more than 2, it's definitely becoming a streak at that point. He sorted that out, and then he of course beat Rangers 3-1. Now, Kris Boyd was also talking to the Scottish Sun about a few things. Now, they joked about, Roger Harrod said the only reason he was actually in the studios is because he was on his way to the SFA to complain, which I thought was funny, because you never see Kris Boyd in the Scottish Sun studios. But again, that quote for Boyd about that Celtic didn't really create a lot, I mean, I'd have to disagree with that, because at the end of the day, they did create a few opportunities. I mean, I wouldn't say they bombarded Rangers with chances, but to suggest they didn't really create a lot, I mean, I would disagree with that. There was a good few chances that, I mean, Butland made a couple of good saves, and there was a couple of, Forrest rattled the bar. There was a lot of shots that went wide. I remember one for Nygren, he hit a few over Engels. There was a lot of opportunities in that game. Make no mistake about it, from Celtic. But again, Rangers had their opportunity. It was a good game. I mean, honestly, do you actually think of how bad the 0-0 was, to think how decent this game was, it was, I mean, I say how decent it was. The reality is, do I feel any better coming out of this game because it was a good game of football than I did back? No, of course I don't. I feel 100 times worse because we've lost. It's a cup semi-final, and that 0-0 game, it was that fucking, there was nothing, there was just absolutely hee-haw happening. Now, Kris Boyd, like I said, obviously pointed out that was a genius tactical masterstroke by Martin O'Neill, and he also talked about Martin O'Neill's chances of potentially getting the job. Do I think Martin O'Neill's getting the job? I mean, he said on the Premier Sports, he's like, do I want it right now? No. But then, like, in his next interview, he's like, yeah, I'd love to be back for the cup final. There is rumours, they have to wait until December till they get who they want. I don't know who they want. Celtic, right? We won't really know until a few months' time. But if Martin O'Neill is still in charge, right, by that cup final, and say he beats St Mirren, then he's surely still going to want the job. He's surely, I mean, Hugh even said on Scoreboard that Martin O'Neill has come in with the idea that he's going to be in until December, because whoever Celtic want, it's going to take that time till he gets released for his club or his contract runs out or whatever. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, in terms of rating the chances of O'Neill getting the job, Kris Boyd did go on to say, and I quote, "I think Martin is a figurehead. Obviously, Sean Maloney has gone in there. Mark Fotheringham has come in. Stephen McManus has been promoted. Gavin Strachan is still there. So there are coaches who have been there and they have added to that. There is no doubt that if Celtic had gone the point at Sean Maloney, the fans would have been asking some serious questions. So bring back Martin, the figurehead. It would allow the inexperienced ones as such to go and coach on the pitch, while Sean Maloney has done for a number of years now. Mark Fotheringham has definitely done it for a number of years too. You can look at that and say, if they had someone like an O'Neill to allow them to go and develop, but I think it would be somebody else." End of quote. Again, see Sean Maloney, man, apparently there was like an incident with him in the dugout. I didn't see it at the end, but Martin O'Neill, as much as he's been a thorn in Rangers' side back in the day and now currently, which is still crazy, he's got something about him. He's got aura to him, Martin O'Neill. Can't deny that. I look at Sean Maloney and I just think, you've got fucking hee-haw. Sean Maloney just does not scream a guy that can become Celtic manager to me. Anyway, will it be Martin O'Neill? Leave it down below. But Kris Boyd has labelled him a genius. So until next time, peace.